Okay. Hello. Welcome to my art studio. Um, I just got back from a walk and it made me think about when I go for my walks. I go for a long walk usually, and I put in my earbuds and I listen to Audible. And my favorite genre is nonfiction. But ever since COVID, everything is heavy and serious in our world, so much of it that I need a break and I need to check out. So I take walks, and I've been listening to Dublin Murders, and I know that sounds like it would be heavy, but it's fun because I like the woman who reads with her beautiful Irish accent, and I love the who done it, trying to figure it out, and I like the ones where there's a female detective, and it's been fun. I like listening to that. That's been a nice break for me, and I am guessing that there are those of you out there who struggle with anxiety like I do, due to our world and all that's going on and COVID and, on and on. The list is long. And I sometimes have trouble sleeping. And so I got up in the middle of the night. Sometimes I try to fall back asleep, but a lot of times once my brain starts swirling, it's like it's just not going to happen. So I wanted to share with you some of the creative things I've been doing for my anxiety, and maybe generate some interest for you as well. I know that many people think of the word art and artist, and they associate it, predominantly the general public does, with drawing and painting, but it's so much more than that. And if you think of it as kind of figuring out what your form of creative expression that you like, then that's much broader. And when you just wander around in a store like Michael's or Joann's or Blick Art Materials, it, I think, generates interest and kind of like that childlike quality where I just want to play with this cool stuff that I see, these cool art supplies. So I'm going to show you some of the things I've been working on. These have been really fun. This was my first experiment with air dry clay. So I didn't fire it in my kiln because I was trying to find stuff that other people could do. And there are a lot of different kinds of air dry clay, but I really like how this one turned out. Now I did the flowers up top, and of course most of you who know me know that I love the artwork of Frida Kahlo and her whole story and everything and her love of Mexico. But this one I did the flowers out of clay, and then this one I glued on just, the inexpensive silk flowers, that cheap stuff that I found at what is that called? Old Time Pottery. And this is my favorite with these. I really like the silk flower. I like the contrast of that. But it was a lot of fun. And of course I painted it black to start, and then I put the thing on the back so you can hang it on the wall. These are very fun to make. Very fun. So this is an online streaming workshop I'm going to do, and if you're interested, I'll teach you how to shape your skull, how to cut out a template. It's really fairly simple. You really don't need any experience at all. And here's another kind of air dry clay. This is not what I used for these, but this is the stuff that's made by Crayola, and you can make beads for jewelry, and it's got a nice texture to it, this does. But I used another kind. I can't think of the name of it, but it comes in a much bigger bag because I was buying it to, make little art kits for students and stuff. So I was doing those, and then, this is another thing. These are fun. I did a template for the skull shape, and then you paint, and these crayons show up really well on the black because they're Crayola construction paper crayons. And they don't come in a large variety of colors, but they do show up on really dark paper really well. And so that's fun. That's another class that I'm offering this month as well, on, because I don't know if you know it, but Halloween has a full moon this month, so on the 31st, I'll be offering that. This, some of you have joined in on my online. I've been doing some free creative doodling live streams, and this has been my own experiment. This is the second one that I did, and I just think it looks so cool. No pencil drawing it out or anything like that. Just I'll probably do a free live stream of how to do this as well at some point, but right now I'm more focused on October and that. But I wanted to show you what I've been, when I got up the other night and I went to the kitchen and I had some of these, I found these black, this is cardstock. I found these online and they come, you can buy them, you have to buy them in a large quantity, but they come with an envelope, right? And then you can write a card, you can write to somebody on the back. And so I sat down. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when my anxiety woke me up, and I went into the kitchen and there were some of these black circles laying there. And I use one of these Uniposca, these pens. You can use a regular, like a white gel pen, but most gel pens and other paint pen companies, other than this is the best, this brand, they don't, the white, you can see how opaque it is and how it really shows up on here. These Jelly Roll, just a regular white gel pen, doesn't show up quite as well, and I wanted something that was very opaque. So I ordered those online. Pick some up at Blick Art Materials as well. They sell them. But these are so fun. And so I wanted to do one for you so you can see kind of how it goes and how easy it is. And if you are curious and want to experiment with it, I just cut this. I just put a plastic lid down on a piece of cardstock. I had some cardstock. You can use regular paper. And traced a circle and then carefully cut it out. But I found at 3 o'clock in the morning that all of the thoughts that were buzzing in my head when I started doing this, it is very much like a meditation or like mindfulness. Because it takes all of that busy brain stuff and focuses it right here as I'm working. And I made myself a cup of hot tea. And I took my pen and I sat down at the table and I just started doodling and working from the center out for a radial design. And it was very calming and it calmed my brain. And after I did one, I went over and sat on the couch and put my earbuds in and was listening, and I just fell asleep. You know, it was a feel-good thing to do. I think it's really important that we have as many feel-good things in our life, especially now with COVID and all the stuff going on in the world. So anyway, I'm going to show you this because it's quick and easy and fun. And I'm going to start in the middle. That's the way I like to do it. I find out approximately where the center is, and I'll probably lean over and my gray hair will be, but it's right there, okay? And I don't even measure it because that's just not, it's not about getting it perfect. So I put a dot and then I do a circle around the dot. And I like to rotate it. It seems to work better that way for me. I'm going to do, a couple of rings. And then at some point I trade it out and add something different. Like, curved lines. All right. That are like, almost like flower petals or mini hills that curve up and over. And then from there, I'm going to do straight lines. And I want them to be approximately the same length. And that's kind of tricky. But it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just about, the whole goal is for it to feel good. And then let's see, I think I'll do another dot and then a diagonal. So a dot above the curved and then diagonal. So all it is line and shape. And I think sometimes, you know, my students would say, I can't think of anything, Miss Julia. But lines, there are different kinds of lines, and then there are different directions of lines. You know, like there's what we think of, we've got straight line, and you can have a straight vertical, a straight diagonal, and a straight horizontal. And you can have a zigzag line, and it can be a zigzag vertical, a zigzag diagonal, and a zigzag horizontal. So there's the direction as well. So sometimes you can take the exact same line and just put it in a different direction, and it's something different for your design. So let's see. I think I'm going to go here off of that line and make a teardrop loop. And I'm just making it up, you know, whatever pops into my head. And as I've done these, made a few of them, I have figured out that I like it when there's something around the edge, like you can see on these, right? So I make sure that I leave a little border there once I get out close to it. Let's see, what else am I going to do? I think I'm going to put another line here, and a loop, and a line. Where is that? Okay, that's on the point of this one. Here, and a loop, and here, and a loop. And that one's much longer. But like I said, you gotta let go of that perfectionism and just play. All right, so I got those. So I think I'm going to do a curve line that goes down toward that loop and up. And so as I'm doing this, you know, it's nice because it takes my very active brain and gives me something else to focus on. And I like that. So let's see. I think I'm going to go... this. All right, so if that's, and now I'm going to do this. So as you can see, it doesn't take too long, and it's fun. It's fun. It's calming. You don't have to go out and break the bank on art supplies. And there is no wrong. You just make it up as you go along using different lines and shapes. And the more you do, the better you get at it. Let's see, I'm going to go around. And it really does help to rotate the circle paper. And some of you may have seen the ones I did on the diagonal where I just had a regular rectangular piece of drawing paper or computer printer paper, 8.5 by 11, and just did some fun doodling on that. But then I started experimenting with, I guess it's like a mandala. I mean, I don't know about all the psychological stuff with creating mandalas, but there is something to it about it being terrifically calming. And it feels good. It really feels good. And it's nice to, I mean, you know, how many times have I heard an adult say, you know, if I mention the word art or artist, and they say, oh, I can't even draw stick people, as if that were the measure of creative expression. You know, there's so many ways to express creativity. Baking, gardening, decorating, designing. You know, when you think about being creative, you know, you're planning things. There's just so many ways to be creative. And used to be, you know, I was born in 1957, so the craft stores and art supply stores, man, that business is way beyond what it was when I was a kid. So I think it's a great time for people who maybe didn't think of themselves as artistic, could shift that thinking to what form of creative expression would be fun. And then just give yourself permission to explore that. You know, go wander through the aisles at Michael's or Joann's Fabrics and pick out a few things. But this, you could just do this with the plain old Bic pen at home. And sorry, I just looked up at the screen and realized I'd gotten over onto the side. But I was so into what I was doing. You know, just pick some things that look like fun and give it a try. See how, what you think of it, how it works for you. Because it really, like I said, when I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't get back to sleep. And I just said, okay, well, I'll just get up. And I went into the kitchen and I saw my pieces of cardstock cut in circles sitting on the table and my white pen laying there. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just do some doodling. And it was so nice. It really was, to just give my brain a break. And when I look at this right now, you know, I still see a lot of blank spaces, and I would want to continue to add more and maybe even switch to a different size pen nib. But I start to add more and more things to fill in some of the space so that there's not so many big blank areas. You know, if you compare it to, you know, these, you know, and you can see, like this one, I had a lot of the little dots. But there are just a lot of different ways you can fill the space with different kinds of lines. And, if I go to, let's say I switch pen nibs, like I have this pack of pens that has all these different pen nibs, but you don't need them. You do not need them. You can do it with just a regular, ballpoint pen, felt tip pen, Sharpie, fine point Sharpie. This is just black on a piece of colored paper, but you can also do black pen on white paper and then add colored Sharpie as accents after you get all your designs on there. But you can see when I start to add, now that I've got this different size pen nib, and I'm adding, so I've got two different kinds of lines. I've got the thicker line and the thinner line, and that creates more interest. I think I will do that. Maybe I'll do 3. Yeah. Where did I put that? Here, 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 and here, here, here. So I will continue to play with this and work on this off camera, but I did want to take a moment and just begin to show you how fun it can be, and it really, I find, is incredibly therapeutic to take a pen and work from the center out. There's something, I think, about the radial design, and maybe that's, like I said, it's connected to the mandala. I don't know, but all I know is that it felt good for me when I did it and when I do it, and I find it very calming, and it feels good. It's a definite feel good. So I hope you'll check out some of my other fun workshops and things that I've got coming up, and I hope that you will stay tuned, and maybe for the next I'll do this one too at some point for a live stream, but stay tuned and I'll keep you posted and do another live stream. But I would love to hear from some of you if you have, how do you address anxiety or loneliness or any kind of stress during these strange times that we're living in? What do you do for you, to manage? I would love to hear from you. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Until next